The Hunter Brothers proudly present Hunting for Funny. Hello folks and welcome to episode 25 of Hunting for Funny. I'm Chris.
And I'm Jack, and we're on the quest to find a funny in life with a guest episode this week.
Yes.
We've got the amazing, talented comedy duo. We've got Paul and James Longley from Oakmead Productions, the all-round sexy bastards we've got on this week.
Bloody hell.
Well done, guys. Come on. How are you doing? You all right?
I'm the Paul and that's the James.
Yeah, that's the one.
Hello, everyone. If you're listening to this, that won't make any sense.
We have even more things that won't make sense if you're just listening, because what we do with guests on this episode, you might have noticed me and Jack, we have little cartoon avatars here. And Jack has one as well. When we have guests, my lovely wife who makes these also makes them for the guest. So I'd like to show you now. Poof. Yours are the opposite way around.
Yeah, he's going to sat on the wrong side. Just like out on deck.
Just going to quickly. We'll do it live.
There we go. Perfect. Look at that.
That is quite a moustache on that guy.
Yeah, I'll give her a reference imagery. You had quite the moustache. So.
I thought Barry Chuckle died, but
Again, people listening to this, it's a big old moustache.
Yeah. It's like a 70s porno tash.
If I could grow a tash like that, I would.
Well, she's just helping you out, you see, helping you on the path. But yeah, that's made by the lovely wife over at Charliemakesit on Instagram. So, guys, thank you very, very much for joining us today. How have you guys been? You been well?
Yeah. I mean, it's sort of difficult to answer that question, sort of knowing what I've done for the last year.
Yeah.
It's sort of, I don't know what days are anymore. So to know if I'm well is too much of a question. So
I know.
Start, actually.
It's just how much like you're out of bed, isn't it? That's all I'm judging it over. How many hours am I out of bed? That's literally all I'm going by.
Yeah. And with at the moment, just working from home, I'm doing my Zoom calls in my bedroom, so I'm kind of really like I'm getting up about kind of like 9:45 for a start, and really what I need to do at the moment.
Yeah,
and I'm on furlough, so I don't even do the getting up bit.
Oh, God.
Well, thanks for waking up for this.
I appreciate
you getting up.
Oh, to be on furlough. I remember when this first started happening, my wife was on the furlough scheme for a bit because she works in a manufacturing factory office. And so at first they shut everything, but then now they've got her back in. But I was so jealous because she spent months doing all sorts of cool stuff. And I was there I never skipped a day. I just want to stop for a bit. I want to do something different. But it's good. It works out okay. I think it's a good little scheme. It worked out for some people.
Yeah. The problem I have with it is that it's going to make. I was quite an honest hard worker before this, but now I've tasted the other side. I can't imagine me ever working hard again. What's the point? If you tell me I can earn 20% less pay and just stay at home, absolutely, yeah, of course. I was scaring people when we went back to work for a little bit. So I worked part-time in the gym, and people were like, "Oh, it's really good to have the gym open. Like, do you think it's safe?" I was sort of really pushing. No, it really is.
Just started coughing in the corner. Feels a bit covered around you.
Lobbying for a second lockdown just to get back to bed. Really selfish. I am part of the problem in this country, and I'm happy to.
Now all them Channel 4 documentaries make sense. That benefits Britain. Now they all make sense. Why wouldn't you? They're the clever ones.
I'm the 21st century face of benefits Britain. A middle class idiot.
I was on the other side of it. I left my last job because I work in TV, so I work on contract stuff. So my contract finished just before it all kicked off, and everyone got put out of work. So I didn't have any furlough to get until I finally got put on a scheme in July, and then started next week. So I had that whole period without any sort of support.
Jeez.
Yeah.
And then this guy just can't
imagine that.
He comes swanning in with his big bags of shopping.
Yeah, money bags over here, Scott.
Yeah, he he was barely getting by, and I was buying retro football shirts. So I just had money to burn. An unhealthy addiction to 90s football shirts. I managed to kill.
Oh God.
And then he was trying to get me to buy them as well, and I'm like, Paul, I have no money. He dried up overnight.
You're only wearing old clothes because it's the only ones you can afford now from the charity shop. The only retro football shirt you get, the one you stumble across. Oh, Jack's been buying retro shirts as well, haven't you, mate?
I have. Yeah, I bought the old Liverpool t-shirt with the crown prints on, 1986, I think it was. Yeah, 1984. Yeah, I've been wearing that quite a lot. Too much probably. Needs a wash, but I just love it too much. Like to.
I'm too scared to wear them. What I do is I sort of get them out, look at them, and then put them away again.
Yeah.
It's like football stickers.
Come in and they'll be all lined up on the wall. Is everything okay, Paul?
Yeah. Is life doing okay for you?
I've been on furlough for a year. I've completed porn. That's done.
You've got a platinum trophy in pornography.
90s football shirts. That's the most aesthetically pleasing.
It's a hell of a path to take after the porno one, I guess. You know, it's like, what is left of life? Well, you know, obviously football shirts. It's the next logical step after you've completed porn.
Sponsorships.
Oh God, that is well. It's a good way to spend your time, I guess.
Why not?
You know, we met you guys at the All the Laughs Comedy Festival back in October, where you guys did very well indeed. And looking at the year that you've had, even though you've been locked in and stuff, you guys have been smashing it with all the awards and all the different things you've been involved in. How have you found doing that this year? Being fully, pretty much like zero budget at home, do what you can.
Yeah, quite. I like it really. I mean, I've been a comedy writer and actor for sort of 12, 13 years, and it's interesting because like, as a writer and stuff, you write scripts. I write usually my best mate, and then you send it out to production companies, and you have like meetings upon meetings upon meetings, and slowly but surely your project changes as it has to fit for something else. To which point you never recognise it anymore, and then it goes to a channel. Then they say, "Oh, we don't like this." Like, no, right, you don't like it because it's not ours. Like, we don't like it. So it was quite refreshing to actually be in, because me and James, like James does a lot of we used to do a lot of filming for us back in the day anyway, and it was always a thing wanting to work together, but it was finding the right time and the right project, and it just happened organically. We were just bored and just filming stuff around the house. Then that developed into sketches, and then we got sort of more and more adventurous, and that sort of happened from there. And it's been really good because it's just I probably felt more like a writer and actor in this last year, despite earning no money and doing nothing professionally, than I have done previously. I think it's just taken me back to actually sort of what I want to do, which is effectively just entertain people, make them laugh. And, you know, it's all well. And I think I feel more confident in myself without getting too deep, because the amount of times you say to people, like, well, they say to you, what you're up to at the moment, and you say, oh yeah, I've got this script, and it's and I'm meeting with this person, and you can see the look in their eyes, and they think you're lying. They think you're nothing. They think you're at home looking at football shirts.
Yeah, it's only half the
watching
time.
porn.
They think I've completed porn. Whereas now, at least they can see. Oh, okay, right. He's dressed up as a referee and pissed around his house for a little while. Yeah, you got video footage. You got proof of what's happening. Yeah. So in that sense, it's definitely been beneficial. Just sort of it's got back to just doing what I love doing, really, which is creating stuff, creating character, comedy, and making people laugh. Like it's all well and good doing it when it's on the page, but if no one sees it, it's just funny in the drawer, which is pointless. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. No,
have you always been into comedy? Is it always something from a kid you've been like willing to do? You've always been that funny joker kid sort of thing. When
you look this ridiculous, it's sort of the most normal thing to go into. Genuinely, it's in earliest memories was watching like Monty Python's Life of Brian with my grandparents when I was like 4. And I went to Sunday school the following week, and they were talking about like Jesus and God and stuff, and I got in trouble. I corrected the vicar and said the guy's name was Brian. From there, the comedy has always sort of been weird. Again, I remember I was at primary school. I pretended I was Mr. Bean for about 3 days. I was autistic. It's always been. I mean, again, I studied comedy at uni, so I found the only course in the country that did comedy. A fucking waste of time. It was the guy running it on his first day announced he doesn't really like comedy and doesn't watch TV.
Jesus.
3 years later, he retrains as chef. I got I got grifted, unfortunately. but my degree in black and white says a degree in comedy, so
There you go.
I take that as officially meaning that I'm officially funny.
That's it.
If anyone watches something and says, "Oh, I wasn't sure. I don't think that was funny," well, no, it was.
Get your diploma out.
You pull out your badge. Excuse me, it says right here.
Yeah.
Degree in funny. That's what we do. No, that's really cool. Well,
Yeah.
So I saw a few of your sketches that you've been doing. I think I actually went through and watched all of them after the awards because I was very addicted.
Yeah.
It's there's something about the way you guys do what you do. It makes you want to see more of the universe, even though obviously they're all different characters and all different people. You still kind of feel like there's a chance they could all live in the same metaverse. You know what I mean? Like it's like I really want them to meet each other one day.
Like, does the referee love pancakes? That's what I really want to know. Like, is it
exactly.
all mixed into one?
And does the referee ever wear one of the YouTube match hats? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, no. I think we just again, it's always just stuff that we naturally find funny, and just I think that we're not making it really for anyone else other than us. So we struck lucky in the sense of that if we're just sort of making it to entertain ourselves and make other people laugh, we're not trying to think, oh, will people find this funny?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
do we find it funny? Are we enjoying it? And then
Exactly.
we've been lucky enough that other people have sort of got on board. So
Well, that's perfect. That's what you should do, isn't it? Enjoy what you're doing, and if there's an audience for it, they'll find you. And obviously they have. You guys seem to be doing really well with that. So I'm really glad about that.
To do because we've been wanting to work together for ages. I've always had my own camera kit and stuff like that, and really built it up. But then with work, I was away for quite a long time. Then we want to film, but then I'll be away on location for a couple of weeks, months.
Yeah.
It's always difficult. So actually having that lockdown was quite nice. We could actually sit down and get stuff done, and it's been refreshing because a lot of the time, if you're working around that sort of environment, you come home and the last thing you want to do is pick up a camera and film again. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, no,
doing something that's enjoyable has been really good.
Yeah, it's been quite. I think the thing that we've always stuck with a low budget approach, not just because we're tight, but
a fair low budget.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, don't put any money on anything.
Yeah. All the money's gone on bloody football shirts.
Yeah, that's why it's zero budget. In fact, the referee one came about because I saw a retro referee top on eBay and thought, well, that's funny. And then I bought that. That's a funny thing to have. And then I thought, well, now I've got that, I should probably do something with it. That's literally how the referee one came about. So I was buying it.
Now to business expense, so it was free.
Yeah, exactly. But we go with low budget because we just strip it right the way back. You sort of lean into it really, as in, so for example, when we do Adventure Brothers, we literally film it. It was filmed here. We just put a green screen up in my bedroom.
Right.
People listening here is basically space, an empty space.
Just imagine what you've been looking at for the past year, and that's what they're in.
It's just somebody else's empty space.
Yeah, exactly.
Some floor, and that's what I'm talking about. And yes, we film it completely in my bedroom. We don't, and then we draw the drawings ourselves, all that sort of stuff, and animate it. And we lean into the sense of we're not animators, and stuff like that. So we lean into that style, and that becomes its style. That it doesn't need to be well done for it to be. That's sort of part of it. And again, with the same with Tim 20 and Nick Mullins, the referee one, it's very much like if we strip it right the way back, so it's just focusing on character and comedy. We're not getting carried away with you can sometimes get lost in an idea of taking it here, or let's take him here, let's do this, let's get this person in and stuff, and we just strip it right the way back, so we just focus purely on the character itself, make the character funny, and then everything else follows really. So yeah, that's my pompous approach.
It's a good approach.
How long did it take between idea to production, like full time scale? How long are we talking for, like a 1 to 2 minutes?
Adventure Brothers is by far the longest. So we're doing another Adventure Brothers at the moment, and I think from start to finish it's about 6 to 7 weeks.
Oh, wow, okay, yeah.
The very first one we did in about a week or 10 days because we were actually able to, wake up and then just film, and then we were filming in here, then quickly taking footage into where my room is, editing from there. And then just doing that for a week, and by that point you could stay up to about 2-3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And then, whereas now I've actually got kind of work to contend with as well. So it drags out the process a lot more.
We've expanded it as well because we've gone with we did Adventure of Save Christmas, and we had animating and talking characters and stuff, which at the time seems like a brilliant idea. But then you've got to realise you've got to move every single character's mouth every time one of them speaks, and then that just takes forever. Like moving every time a character up and down.
Yeah.
And then you think, oh, that's good. Maybe I'll add some eyebrows, and you do that with eyebrows, and then when people watch it, and then I had a friend watching go, yeah, it was good. Good. As in, can you do more than good, please? I spent weeks animating eyebrows.
Yeah, you want nothing less than exceptional for that much work.
How funny were those eyebrows, though, mate?
Yeah.
And then again, we've written a new one, and I haven't learnt my lesson because
They've got 4 eyebrows.
In fact, it's worse. I've now got characters speaking to characters, so it's basically just mouse and mouse. The beauty of Adventure Brothers should be that it's me and James talking to characters. So then it's at least half of it is us. But I've effectively I've written us out of it.
Just give yourself voiceover roles.
Watching a talking cop. If anyone hasn't seen it, they're talking penis.
I was going to say, you should probably clear up what the Adventure Brothers is. It sounds really weird to say 2 brothers, 1 talking cock. It's a very different kind of video.
Some niche level porn if you completed it.
If I explain it, I'll explain it more for listeners that have not seen Adventure Brothers, and it's going to sound even worse. Which is, the talking cock in question in Adventure Brothers is actually our reincarnated dead grandfather, who has come back as a talking penis.
That old chestnut.
And it's as wholesome as you think it is.
Oh god! Well, it's exceptionally well done. It's really funny, and I can't wait for the second one. So you guys in the middle of that, or are you just starting sort of pre-production for that, or what's the plan?
So we filmed it all. We're probably about a week, about 10 days to 2 weeks away from finishing, I'd say.
Oh, nice.
So I mean, it depends how much eyebrow movement I choose to do. When anyone watches it, watch those eyebrows, because there's a lot of time and effort gone into them.
That's it. All comments should be about the eyebrows.
I don't care how funny you find it. Tell me about them eyebrows.
For all the productions you've done, is there any ones you've got like their shite ideas? Like, do you have like a pile of ideas that are terrible, and then you just picked out the good ones?
They've all been absolutely brilliant.
It's just a gold filter, this guy, pure pumping out gold.
They've all been absolutely hilarious. I don't know what to talk about. Can't relate.
There was that one that I was trying to do under the water.
That was bad.
So in lockdown, my original plan, this kind of all started, was because I bought a new camera, and it was kind of, I wanted to film one thing every day. But the first thing we filmed was that we were doing a quiz at home, and Dad was reading out a quiz, and it was just literally like 10 seconds of that. And then it was like, then the next day I did one called Darts Practice, where it was me playing darts, and it was dreadful. And then like I wanted to do one that was underwater with all green screen downloaded effects. It looked like I was swimming alongside sharks and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
I tried it for days, and I kept looking back at it like, this is crap. This is really crap.
It was awful. It was awful. And he kept showing me. I didn't have the heart to tell him, but this is really bad, mate.
Yeah. Really, I do one every day.
I had to sit him down and say, you don't need to do something every day, because what you're doing every day is going to be absolute arse. And then
why don't you put yourself on furlough? Just stop that for a while.
I'm going to take the camera off you.
Think about what you've done.
The first few had gone down quite well, and it's kind of like the pressure mounts, because then people are like, oh, we're really enjoying what you're doing. And I was like, but
I had an intervention, because it was like you have like random people, like your mum's mates on Facebook, saying, "Can't wait for tomorrow's one."
Oh, God, yeah.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
I'm not half. Like James, like, yeah, but so and so said I'm really looking forward to seeing the next one. I don't care. Short answer: James made some very unfunny stuff.
You've made nothing but gold.
Am I saying that it's only been good when I've been involved? I can't answer that question.
There is a correlating factor.
Let's just say you met us at awards ceremony and we fucking cleaned up.
Very smoothly said. I appreciate that. Oh, God.
We've got to give a shout out to your mum and dad as well, because they're the best bits of the film sometimes. You know, like they must put up with so much stuff, like filming around the house and stuff.
They're kind of like accidental natural actors. They've like But Dad got really he got almost like quite jealous because he wasn't in the original Adventure Brothers.
Mm.
It was
Okay.
Mum, and like Mum, we gave Mum the script like pretty much as we were filming it, and she delivered the lines perfectly. Well, Dad was getting really jealous, but before that, we'd filmed one called Baking with Trev, where I just filmed Dad making a cake and didn't give him any props or anything like that. He just was an idiot.
Yeah.
And then because that won a couple of things, and his head went massive.
Oh. Genuinely, this was a bit more context. This is basically Dad was bored at like the height of lockdown. Dad was obviously seeing loads of people just doing loads of stuff, and my dad is like he's 61 years old. He's never steps foot inside the kitchen. Like genuinely, he's a class. He burns cereal. He's that sort of. He decided he was gonna. He just suddenly comes out of it. I'm gonna bake a cake, and it was the most oddest sentence to hear. I'm gonna bake a cake, and he went on YouTube and found this recipe. This person making a cake, and then we couldn't believe he was actually doing it. So James filmed it and he edited it all, and it was quite a funny, like wholesome little video of this man making a cake. It was very naturalistic. But the reality is that it's an edited version because if we showed the actual, it wouldn't be wholesome. He wouldn't have been. It would be those people saying, "Oh, bless him! Look at this lovely man making a cake." No, it was awful. There was a bit where he got flustered because the woman was going along and doing the video too quickly for him, and he called her a slut. Of course, in the actual video, it's him being really wholesome. There's something in the background. Him cracking eggs and little bits of shell going to the mix. Well, the clumsy idiot. In reality, he slut-shamed a baker.
Just screaming, "Slow down, your cake slow, I can't catch up."
It'd be hashtag cancelled Trev.
Well, if he gets out of line, you've always got the footage, you know.
Yeah, true. The bloopers, yeah.
If his head gets a bit too big.
Do you know what the first Adventure Brothers did? You sit down your parents and go, you know where Grandad who passed away? Can we make him a big massive cock? Was there a conversation between them thinking, is this okay or
is this disrespectful?
We'd already started, and I thought I should probably break it to Mum.
At least run it by her, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this, and then
it's your dad.
loving no longer with his father. Got a top hat though, isn't he? That's quite nice.
At least he's smart.
Just thinks it's a nice little docu-series about him, and then in comes the dragon. Like, oh Jesus.
Yeah. Luckily, she was. I mean, surprisingly more on board than I thought she'd be because we'd include the fact that, like, basically, again, for anyone listening, so basically the whole reason that our granddad appears as a cock in this is the whole idea is that with Adventure Brothers is that our granddad has left us. He's collected all our drawings when we were kids, and he's left us the idea of turning our children's drawings into stories. And the idea is we enter this imaginary world, and he's going to be there with us, and we have these adventures with our granddad. And his idea was that this is obviously all fictional. We didn't do this at all. But his idea is that he would appear as a grandfather clock, and he'd appear like this sort of like, you know, wisdom as like wise figure as a grandfather clock. But his handwriting's so bad, we misread the handwriting. It looks like he's put cock with giant cock and bollocks. So I thought, like, well, hopefully, Mum. And then, but because Granddad's handwriting in real life was really bad, Mum almost saw that as a really sort of like very warm gesture.
It's like a touching tribute.
It was really bad. Sort of, not bad enough that you'd mistake that he turns into a penis, of course.
Was it like when films say this is based loosely on real events? Like, well, that's the loosest possible way of doing that. It's very loosely based on it.
The weird bit though is that because we've done the first Venture Brothers, and obviously Grandad Cock is now back in the new episode. We've spent so long with Grandad Cock. And then when we're talking about it, like as in, okay, like in knitting, when you're talking to Grandad, or you know the bit where I'm with Grandad, it almost feels like it's this weird new thing. If I see a photo of Grandad now, I also there he is, Grandad Cock. I'm sort of like I feel like I've like that we have reincarnated him, which is incredibly insulting. He's a giant purple cock.
It's kind of a weird one because like the two seem just kind of almost the same. Like even to the point where like some of the stuff he used to say, we've kind of like put into the script to make it feel a bit more kind of like lifelike. What we're saying. And then it's kind of like, oh, that's a nice thing that Grandad used to say.
Oh my goodness, it's like some kind of weird lizard person that you turned your Grandad into. Like his actual skin is the cock, and he just wears the Grandad skin.
What I've noticed is my dad has suddenly started eating a lot healthier recently. I think he's concerned that if people was to snuff it, that he would be turned into something just as horrific and doesn't want
Like a giant like
arse.
penis cake or something.
Yeah.
Oh God. Well, at least you got some kind of creative, like the stuff that you guys make. You don't really see anywhere else, and that's I think that's probably
That's one way of
So
putting it,
unique, isn't
yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
It explains a lot of the success as well. Obviously, what you guys, the way you do it is very good. I enjoy it as a viewer, but also just as somebody who can imagine being there, if that makes sense. Like it feels wholesome, but still funny, and I don't know, just there's a nice homemade feel to it, but still professional, if that makes any kind of sense at all.
Yeah, I think that is sort of. I mean, firstly, thank you, and second, I mean, I think that's the large part for me in particular, especially with Venture Brothers, is that because it's so stupid in some parts, and it's, like again, we film it again, like I said, in just front of a green screen, so there's no pressure on us. It's not like you're getting a film crew together and you've got people coming in for the day to film this part, and you're working on a time scale. It genuinely is. It's sort of like reality copies fiction in a way, because it is literally just me and James messing around as kids again. Really, you are just messing about in front of the green screen, and then you're just drawing these fun drawings. And what do you think of this? What do you think of this? And it's so again, I think that the most, I think we're doing it because we enjoy it, and I hope that obviously comes out on the screen. I think if it didn't, I think it would take a lot away from it. If there was no love in it, and we were literally turning up, we'd fallen out beforehand, we no longer spoke, and it was get the job done. I think you'd see that in the comedy a lot more. It'd be dreadful. So if you start seeing us underwater, doing some sort of underwater drawings, that'll be that's when you know the comedy's dropped off. And
You've run out of ideas. You're going back to the pile.
Solo with the swim projects.
It had, but then that was the funny thing with that swim project, and then that one, it's kind of like, it was trying to build a world underwater. It's kind of, it wasn't working, and then that's kind of part of the reason where something like this kind of spiraled from.
Yeah.
So really, I got slated for that, but really,
really, it was your idea. I mean, it's what you're saying.
Idea, It's all down to you, really. That's all I'm getting from this.
That's the equivalent of like a caveman saying, "I'm hungry," and then a chef inventing a menu. And
then going to Tesco's and taking credit.
I was the first hungry person, so I sort of invented food.
Exactly. I invented Michelin star chefs.
I've basically done that. So
Yeah.
Well, that's working
you've done
great.
well there, to be fair.
Yeah.
When we were prepping for this episode, we were looking at the awards you've won for the comedy shorts, and we were like, "Oh my god, there's like 14 at least that I've counted. I don't think I got through all of them." So, like, is there like an award ceremony that you're most fond of? Is there an award that you're most proud of getting this year or last year? Sorry, through doing all this comedy stuff, or?
Yeah, it was strange because it's all been online. So sometimes you just get an email saying,
okay.
And that is the worst. It's sort of like, give us a bit of fuss, will you?
Yeah. At least give us a Zoom call,
Come on, massage my ego, will you?
One that we met on, that was all the laughs.
Yeah, that was quite good, to be fair. All the laughs.
We actually got to kind of interact and people and be part of something rather than just literally emails and a thumbs up.
I think that's it. It's nice winning and stuff, but I think what's been most enjoyable is actually just meeting loads of like-minded people or people who are interested.
Yeah, definitely.
People just around the world that we wouldn't have bet. Like we did one in Dublin International Comedy Film Festival was brilliant for that. All the laughs was obviously really good as well, and then and Dublin was really nice. We met loads of people. She'd organised loads of Zoom calls and stuff similar to all the laughs. She just met loads of really great people.
Oh, cool.
Keep in touch and stuff. And I think that's been the it's nice to win stuff, but ultimately it's not gonna sort of change anything. As in it's nice. It's a nice like pat on the back, but 3 days later you've sort of forgotten about it anyway. It's not going to change the world, but what makes more of a difference is the people that you encounter and sort of it gives, and having those conversations about comedy and stuff. I think that's been the best bit. Is generally so that's the most humble answer I can give. The reality is I fucking love it.
You bathes in trophies every night.
Rolling on my bed in certificates.
Of emails, just rolling around in emails.
Look at all these emails I've got.
Just hearing the dings of his computer. It's like, there's another one coming through now. So, what sort of advice would you guys give to people who wanted to do something like what you have done? Because I know you've both got a lot of experience in what you're doing. So at home, it's just sort of like a free, sort of a more fun way of doing what you do for work. But for people who are just at home considering doing this kind of thing for themselves, just for a bit of, light relief, do you have any sort of advice to them as to how you'd go about doing it?
No, don't. It's our thing, not yours. Piss off.
That's good advice. I like it.
Yeah.
Just kill the market.
It's going to be the worst advice.
Yeah, I think start small is the main thing. Genuinely, as in we started by just doing silly little, really small sketches. Just as in almost you're putting it out there. You're not addressing it to be a sketch or to be a funny short or anything. You're putting it out there to just as if no one watches it, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And then you can always hide behind that. If it gets nothing, it's like, I was only messing around anyway. And then, but then as people like it, you can then use that to sort of you're gaining confidence. Again, I mean, like I said, I've been writing for sort of 12, 13 years, but when me and James were putting stuff out there, or even now, like when we put out the next Adventure Brothers, I'll be shitting myself for the the hour, 2 hours before I hear anything from anyone. It's
that initial reactions.
Yeah, I mean, I used to do live comedy like years ago, and obviously you get the instant reaction. Obviously, you tell a joke, you don't wait 4 hours for a laugh. If you do, you're not done well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, that's the best part of it, the instant feedback. But you just don't get that online, do you?
No, exactly. No, So you have to wait. So I mean, again, I'll just start small until build up your confidence. Just try out things, and again, if you're worried about putting it in front of friends and family, I mean, I don't know what TikTok is, but apparently lots of people use that. Yeah. So do that.
Yeah. Then also it doesn't really matter because say part of Nick Mullins, which is probably one of our outside of Adventure Provs, our most successful one, and then most of that, well not most of it, but quite a lot of it was shot on the phone. So really you don't even need loads of hit and stuff. If you've got the phone and you've got a bit of creativity, you can kind of go a long way without that kind of basis. Really, it's just kind of having fun with what you do and. Just try and be as creative as possible. Just
do what. Again, if it's a thing that if you find it funny, I mean, I ultimately with comedy, you're your own demographic to an extent. There's no point trying to second guess. Is what the problem I usually find with the industry is that you'll be having meetings with people and they'll be saying, audiences don't really want this at the moment.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Exactly.
You put it out, they'll laugh. When The Office was made, no one was out there demanding a mockumentary about a workplace. It became the most successful British sitcom of all time. Audiences don't know what they want until it's put in front of them. Adventure Brothers has done well, but no one was after a talking cock made out of my granddad. Not made out of, not actually made out of. I didn't use parts of my granddad.
You didn't pick that up in the comedy degree.
Yeah.
It's not like one of the foundations of comedy.
Yeah.
You pick a grandparent, make him into a phallic symbol.
Yeah. So as in it's, I think ultimately, as in if you find it funny and you believe in it and you make it to what you want it to be, there will be other people that, it might be two people. It might not. It might be that person individually is not very funny. But
know that feeling.
If you make the thing that you're proud of and that you're happy with, and you can sit back and say, I really like that, then and then you've got something to show for your work anyway, and that's that. It's when you start making it worrying about what other people think. When, I've said this, like I said, I will shit myself when I put the next adventure online. Yeah,
it's only human to have that kind of anticipation, but I know what you mean, though. To do it with the aim of just having fun.
Yeah, massively. Well, me and Chris have got experience in trying to make films, haven't we, Chris? Remember when we were a kid, we tried to make a parody Harry Potter with a camcorder?
It wasn't a parody, we were just trying to recreate Harry Potter.
It was the worst thing going.
When we were younger, we were both extras.
We did a bit of extra work, didn't we, when we were younger?
Yeah, we did a bit of extra work, and it went to our heads. We're like, well, we've got a camcorder at home. Let's make Harry Potter.
Who played who? Who played who?
I was the cameraman and Hagrid. And Jack was Harry being woken up by Hagrid.
Yeah. But we were both pre-pubescent, didn't have any sort of props or anything. So he was Hagrid with no beard. It was just one.
Yeah, or just maybe on the camera going, "You're a wizard, Harry." It's like, I'm a what?
He was whispering, "Jack, sit up, you're awake." "Oh yeah, I'm awake." He's jumping up.
I would watch this over the original, to be honest.
I've got it in the attic somewhere. We were talking about this yesterday. I've not got a way of playing it because it's just a little DV cassette. The camera for it was sold years ago, so I should find some way of getting that off.
That'd be good, yeah. Things like that. I mean, that's if people want to start, film weird parodies of Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And that's
And in just 10 short years, you'll be in a subpar podcast.
Yeah.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers. So how do you so how did you both get into your separate fields? Because I know you're quite a successful actor. You do a lot on the media side, James. So how did you both get involved in that sort of thing? I say you started your comedy at uni, and did you get into the acting roles from there, or was it?
Yeah, I mean, so when I left uni, I was writing stuff, and I obviously wanted to get acting work. I'm waiting to get found out because I faked my way in. As in, I've like normally actors would have a show reel or they've been to drama school. Like they'd have a show reel of stuff they've been in. I'd obviously been in nothing. So what I did was I filmed me and my mates. We filmed ourselves, just not like me and you talking now. We filmed like it from one angle and the other, 2 cameras set up, and it looked like the most naturalistic acting in the world because it was just 2 people talking. Oh, God, isn't it actor? Complete fake. And then so we sent that out and somehow managed to attract an agent that way. I think she just liked the fact that I was a liar. And again, it was a thing where I mean, again, I was working for a casting director as his runner, like getting his lunch every day and stuff. And I was given a list of the people that are coming in, like the actors, and a list of their agents. So I nicked that list and I emailed all the agents. I thought, I'll do that. And then when I had the meeting with my agent, she said, "Oh, how did you find out about me?" So I lied. Well, I didn't lie. I told the truth. But then ultimately I was still lying because I said, "Oh, I found out of you via this casting director."
Yeah.
And she was like, if this cast, technically it's true. Technically it's
if you hadn't have left that list just lying around, you never would have saw it.
There's some grey matter in there, but I have. There is, and then she was like, "Oh, if that casting director's recommended you, you must be good." I'll think. So she then hired me, and then I went back to the casting director, and he was like, "Oh, how's your weekend?" I was like, "Oh, very good. I've just signed with my agent." He was like, "Oh, who's your agent?" I was like, "Oh," I gave the agent's name, and he was like, "Oh, if that agent has recommended you, it must be good. I'll give you a small part in this." And
fantastic.
So I'm waiting to get found out.
Well, trust me, this won't be the platform you'll get found out on. I mean, about 4 people might find out about it. So.
Yeah.
Depending on who those 4 are.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah,
we could be 6, but including your parents. So hopefully, if they listen, we might get 2 more views.
Yeah, we have the head of the BBC and then all our parents. And that's pretty much that's pretty much all we have.
What's the biggest part you've been in? Because I know you've been in quite a few big roles. Well, big productions. So
I was in Call the Midwife. That was probably my that again was just so different to anything else. It was brilliant. I really enjoyed it because it was drama, which was really out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
And I hadn't really seen Call the Midwife before I went on it or anything. But the people were fantastic because I'd done a lot of parts where you're on there for a day or something, and it's like being a new kid at school. You go along, everyone knows each other. You've got one line, and it's like because you only got one line, you're like that. You sort of there's a hierarchy, and you're you're the youngster there, or like you're not as credible effectively, snobbery. And then I went and I thought, oh Christ, I'm going on to Call Midwife. There's people on there like regulars that have been on there for like years and years and years and stuff. But you get there, and it was like a family. I was there for like 3-4 weeks, but like sporadically, like 2 days here, 1 day here.
I was going to say, how long did it take to say that one line if it was like 4 weeks? It's a word a day.
I milk it for all it's worth.
The really long words, you see, the difficult ones from back in the day.
And then, so then, Call the Midwife, I was playing a husband of like a stroke victim, it was. I had to do some actual proper acting, like stuff, but everyone there was lovely. And you actually, although you're only in there, genuinely, they've done like 10 series, they do like 10 episodes of series and this sort of stuff. The amount of people and stories they'd have in there, but you almost come away from it thinking that you are part of this show. You get told how important or how special this show is, how well received, how it's a global scale and stuff. So you don't take it for granted, but the people there were so welcoming. So that was probably the best I'd had. That was really good. But I mean, to be honest, genuinely in reality, and I'm not just saying this because I'm now haven't had a paid acting job in quite some time, is that the reality is the stuff I'm most proud of is the stuff that me and James has done because it's stuff that I've created myself. We've created ourselves. We've written it, we've made it. It's the roles I want to play. I've enjoyed playing it, and I can watch it back. Like again, seeing me in a drama is almost surreal, and it's sort of like I watch it and I cringe. It's sort of like that's not the me that I know. Whereas like you know, seeing sort of, you know, Nick Mullins or Adventure of the that's sort of, I'm proud of that. And so that, again, the roles I'm most proud of is the stuff that I've done, really.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So that's good.
James, how did you get involved in the media sort of side, behind the camera?
Well, I studied TV and video production at uni, and then when I left, I'd done like a bit of work experience when I was there and stuff. So I had kind of like a few things on my CV, luckily. And then when I left, I was kind of like, I don't know if I want to go like work in TV. I want to do corporate video. I did that for a bit, and that was an absolute car crash. I worked for some horrendous places. One of the places I ended up being employed for like 3 months was filming people getting like surgical like Botox and fillers.
Oh God!
And I didn't really know that before I took the job, and I did it for like 3 months. And I don't like needles. And it's horrible having to film it and then watch it.
Wasn't there a large part of it, although you were filming, that you basically had to become like a Botox salesman?
Yeah. They said, and one point, they were like, because there's no more because it was like I was supposed to be making videos for this whole centre, but there was only one, and it was all had all different rooms. It would have like under what I should have been doing was about like, you know, if someone was there and they were a like physiotherapist, I'd make a promoting for them, but there was only one person who rented a room there the whole time. So I just exhausted every single
every angle you've got. Yeah.
And then
she used the pun. There must be plenty of filler. Yeah.
Oh, and in the end they're like, because there's only like one receptionist and she does like 6 days a week. If you could, we're going to train you up to work in reception. I was like, I don't really answer my own phone, let alone. Then they gave me like a big like script that I had to learn about how to sell it over the phone, and then the bloke would listen to my. I mean, I was being grossly underpaid as well at the time. And he said he'd listen to every single phone call that I had to answer, and then if I didn't close a sale, which he thinks I could have, then he'd take it out of my wages. Then he also said that he would. I can't sell Botox unless I've had it myself. I was like,
you had to sell Botox in a straight face.
At least you wouldn't have to animate the eyebrows if you had Botox.
That's a good idea for your characters next time if you don't want to do it. Scene 1, Botox.
I'm going to go. I want to get back into TV. So then I was lucky enough to get a couple of days working at a place called Studio Lambert, who make Gogglebox and shows like that. So I worked there and then got offered a job working on Gogglebox and stayed there for a year and a half. And then things kind of snowballed. So I met someone on there who knew someone who needed people for Top Gear. So I joined Top Gear and did that for about 2-3 years.
Wow.
Amazing, because I got to go all over the world. And at the time Matt LeBlanc was hosting, so I was working with Matt LeBlanc and people like that. And,
cool.
So then after that, so I did. When he left, I went and did Strictly the One show, and then came back to Top Gear. And then I left. That was my last contract before lockdown. So I left there, kind of thinking, I'm going to go do something else. I've done it for so long, and then lockdown happened. But then, lucky enough, because I had all the Top Gear stuff, the Grand Tour got in touch. So I've been working with them ever since. And
oh wow, amazing! Yeah,
now I'm producing for the Grand Tour. So that's good fun.
Brilliant. I'm glad it's still going well then.
Yeah,
it's good fun. I mean, it's great. It's great to get this kind of like some of the places I've been able to go to. Is like I've been to Nepal and Ethiopia and Sri Lanka and all these sort of things. Stuff I've never done before. So I've been very lucky.
They're not places you just choose to nip to. You know, it's sort of work sends you there. You go, okay, I'll go. Yeah. But you don't think I'm just going to nip over to Sri Lanka for the weekend. You know,
you're not going to get a Ryanair flight for cheap, are you? Going to Sri Lanka?
One to Nepal, please.
I think I remember at the time being like, I think I was really busy and there was some other stuff that I had to cancel by going there. And I was a bit like, I'm going to have to miss out on like this person's birthday. But then when I was in Sri Lanka, we were going through like, driving up this kind of like tea plantation. And the end of the film, they sailed across to there's basically where there's I think it's, I can't remember how many islands there are, but the sixth island is like the Indian border. So they sailed in tuk-tuks that were floating and to the Indian border, and the support vehicles were the Sri Lankan Navy. So I was on this massive tangent watching the sun go down in Sri Lanka, and I was like, I don't mind missing this person's birthday.
Yeah, I was going to say,
I didn't understand when they see the footage.
It's good. Like,
here's your present, look at this. I mean, happy birthday. Oh, that's interesting.
How's Gogglebox filmed? I thought it was just. Is it just a camera in the house, or is it quite a big production? I don't know how it works.
Yeah, it's basically just like cameras next to the TV, and then.
So you in the room as they sort of like act like you're not in the room, or are they filming themselves?
A terrace house style.
I don't know how much I'm really allowed to say.
Yeah, Jack, I was going to say there's a lot of NDA stuff involved. You don't want to peek behind the curtain too much.
For me, it looks like they've got a camera on top of the skybox and just sat there watching it. But I presume there's probably a big old production going behind it.
There's just made just like little what they call little hotheads, and they're just
cool. Yeah.
Little kind of remote control cameras that will sit beside them, so they're kind of in the room all on their own without any sort of exterior interference.
Oh wow!
Yeah. When he first said the term hothead to me, I thought he was talking about a very stroppy producer.
Just stood in the corner filming it grumpily.
Hothead in the corner who shouts at them until they say,
"Laugh at Coronation Street." Shouted in the corner. Oh, so you worked on Strictly then the last season. So would you have been there when Will Bailey was?
Oh yeah,
yes.
My friend, my best mate
Jack's
Will
on his
Bailey was
team.
on there. Yeah.
Oh right.
Yeah, Will's basically one of my best mates because he's obviously in the same team. So yeah, I've known Will for years and years. So.
Oh, so I did the year before Will, and then this year just been as well. So I got to meet Bill Bailey, but I wasn't there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I did the year I did the year of Bill Bailey.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah, Will and Bill. I never even thought of that.
Bill Bailey was so good in that program as well. He shocked everyone, didn't he? I suppose,
Yeah.
like with the way he came across.
One of my big things I did on that this year was, or last year rather, was the Children in Need thing. So I went and
Cool.
because I worked on the sister show on It Takes Two, so our access to them was limited because of all the restrictions.
Yeah.
And so I went round and filmed with them, and everyone works really hard, but Bill really instantly could tell that he worked even harder because of he had all these special kind of like braces on to keep him straight, and it was a really nice guy.
That's great. He's a really committed person, isn't he? Like I've been a Bill Bailey fan for years and years and years, and it makes me happy whenever I see him on a new project. Sometimes I'll be thinking I've not seen Bill for years, like in anything, whether it's a stand-up special or he's doing his his musical show or something, and then out of nowhere he'll be on like 20 things that year, and you go, okay, that's what he's been doing. He's just been building stuff up and getting ready to show us it all.
Definitely change his agent or something, just getting them more work in it.
Oh no, it's great. Like I was rewatching Black Books the other week for the first time in a while, and it was only then I remembered, like, I always call my mum Muma, and I only realised it's because of Black Books. Like I must have picked it up from there. Like so every time I send her a message, "Morning Muma, how are you doing?"
Yeah. I always wondered why you're doing that. I thought it was like more like the Moomins, like the childhood program. I didn't realise it was from Black Books.
I honestly thought you were mispronouncing Mormons for a second then, and then like hello. No, but it was cool to see after so long, because like you forget just how good that show is.
Yeah, one of my fondest memories, like comedy-wise, is watching Bill Bailey on stage doing his musical one. I don't know what it's called, but the metal pole when he moves his hand.
Oh, the theremin.
So funny.
Yeah.
I'm watching, I'm thinking that's hilarious. I've never seen anything like it before. It's just a strange old comedian.
I mean, there's all the clues there that he was going to be really good on Strictly, because he's just so musically fluent.
Definitely.
Movement and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, like, people thought he was going to go on there to be some sort of like the comedy filler.
Yeah.
Just a clown.
Talking about a guy who's he's as musically talented as he is comedically talented.
Oh, definitely.
Like,
he's pitch perfect and everything,
he's not
isn't he?
go on there and like piss about. Like he clearly was knowing what he was doing. That was good to see.
Wow. Good.
That's really
cool.
cool.
There we are, Paul Bailey. If you're listening to this, thumbs up.
Thumbs up. If you want to be a guest on it, just send us an email.
We should just start emailing Will Bailey, misspelling it, and hope it gets through to him. It might happen eventually.
To be fair, when Will was on Strictly, he obviously his Twitter blew up and stuff, but there was a lot of wrestling fans that tweeted Will because there's a wrestler called Bailey, so they were like mispronouncing the way he was spelling it. And he was getting loads of tweets saying, "Why did you lose to like the Undertaker, whatever?" Like on this thing, and I was like, "Strictly, what are you talking about?"
The dance off at the end, quick fight with
just get choke slammed.
That happens a lot to one of the game devs I speak to on Twitter quite often. It's a guy called John Jones. But he's not the UFC fighter John Jones. But he's got the @John Jones like Twitter, because he's had it for like ever. And he gets so many abusive tweets every time John Jones is fighting. And he got like private messages and stuff. He's like, "Listen, say what you want. I don't really care. I'll take you." He just treats it like he is him. And you look at his pictures. It's just this like chunky white guy who's a game dev.
So what have you got planned for the future then? What have you? Is it Adventure Brothers coming out soon? Is it or?
Yeah. So Adventure Brothers next week. Adventure Brothers and the Mountain of Fire. You heard it here first.
Nice.
Very nice.
Exclusive.
Nice
That's an exclusive.
Don't know enough people to tell. That's basically big exclusive through lack of us knowing too many humans. So that will be out in the next couple of weeks. Then after that, really, I suppose my main focus then is I do need to get some sort of salary job. So I should probably do that next, and then we'll then do another Adventure Brothers soon. Because I've been on furlough now since December. And I've definitely emotionally left work.
Yeah.
I work WhatsApp group, but I muted that.
That's a fair sign, isn't it?
They could be saying all sorts in there. They could be. Most of them could have died of COVID for all I know. Well, I want that to be the case. I can't answer that question. I can't.
Maybe work's open back up and you just don't know. You just not been
the messages.
I could be made redundant and not realise it.
Yeah, you've already been fired. That's it. You just didn't get the memo.
It's very much a thing of where I definitely now need to get another job. As in, I think this is now told me I need to. The fact that I'm using a WhatsApp group, not as in sort of like people I would see on a daily basis at work, and then the minute I've gone on furlough, about
that's done.
I don't know.
That chapter's finished.
I won't even wish him a Merry Christmas. That is Happy New Year, not a chance. So that's the plan for 2021 is Adventure Brothers and Mountain of Fire, get a job, and then see what happens. Probably another Adventure Brothers, to be honest. We enjoy that more than anything else. We'll probably that's our main thing, is keep doing those, because we can do it sort of here and there, just between other projects. There's no rush on them, and we haven't got to rely on anyone else. It's funny because loads of people would wanted to sort of voice characters in the most recent episode, but because it's like trying to sometimes explain a storyline of Adventure Brothers to then get someone to do a character for it. It's almost impossible. Like, as in, can you voice this incredibly bizarre thing that we just created? So it's always just me voicing it. So now I'm in the point of where I'm running out of silly voices.
It's difficult to get across the voice of your grandfather's cock, and it. Like, how did you get that across to someone without sort of voicing it yourself?
Exactly, Can you voice that, please?
Unless you remember hearing it.
Life as possible.
Like voice what's going on, like our thought process, because like we know when we're filming it, we know how it's going to look. But when you say something like, "Oh yeah, so we're going to fight this kind of like big monster that's made out of penises, and the penis dragon's going to come in," and I'm like, "Okay, fine."
The usual archetypes. I'm pretty sure everyone studies that at drama school. They should be fully equipped for now.
It's easy.
In this most recent episode, we've run out of. I mean, it's now to the point that I'm voicing a woman in this most recent one. That's how. Like, again, we really shouldn't open it up to other people, but it's almost the fear factor of sending it to them and saying, "Look, I know what you're about to read."
You shouldn't need a disclaimer for a script.
Please.
You need an NDA for the therapist just in case you do it.
Please do not call the police. Please.
This is not a 2020 sex crime. This is just a script. Oh God.
What's next for you, James? Have you got any productions coming up, or?
Yes, I'm back on Grand Tour now. So I'm doing that, and we're filming again soon. We've got the special that we filmed last year, Scotland. I don't know when it's coming out, but that's I think probably some point later next year.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I'm working on the next one of them. In the meantime, so we're just I'm there for the foreseeable. Which is good fun.
Very exciting. That's good news. Isn't
have you been flying around during COVID times and stuff, or have you?
I think the plan is to hopefully soon, but at the moment it's kind of very difficult because when we go anywhere, it's kind of like a rolling circus. It's kind of like a convoy of something like 20 odd cars. So it's very hard to kind of get all that across the world.
I can imagine.
They were going to go to Russia, but they had to cancel it because of that. They were going to go, and it was like 2 days before they announced the full lockdown. So they we're not coming back. So it's
you don't want to get stuck in Russia.
Yeah,
it's not the best situation.
Yeah, it's not ideal, is it? Yeah.
I imagine traveling during these times. I mean, Jack had to travel a couple of weeks ago for a training camp, didn't you? And it didn't sound like the most fun experience.
Yeah, it wasn't ideal. I had my mask on for like 14 hours on because I had to go from like the training facility on the coach with everyone. We'd all been tested. Then we went to the airport. We still have your mask on. Then you've got to go through the security, and it was a bit of a nightmare. But it wasn't too bad when we got there. But it was a very different experience than what I'm used to flying about.
14 hours the mask on.
Yeah, it's a long old time. I had like red mark just where it was, like Bane, just like a really like face on me. Like, yeah.
Whereabouts was the training camp?
In Slovenia. I was in Slovenia. So we usually travel there 4 or 5 times a year anyway without COVID. We went to the training camp. And luckily we'll be able to get tested before we went. We flew there and the hotel was just shut. So the only people that were in there was the people that were training that were already tested. And we trained inside the hotel in like the ballroom. Like they had like a ballroomy place. Like so we just stuck tables in there really and then played in there. So it was okay actually. It was okay.
Whereabouts in Slovenia?
It's got a little place called Lashko. It's about an hour and a half away from Ljubljana. So yeah.
I
like a little tiny.
I know of 2 places in Slovenia, and I was hoping it was going to be one of them. So oh yeah, I know it well.
I know well. Yeah, the corner shop. We got that guy Gary. Yeah.
There's just loads of places in Slovenia that I've not heard of, and unfortunately, it was one of those.
Yeah.
Well, you're doing better than me, Paul. I'd never heard of Slovenia when he first went, so I was like, "What?"
Yeah. When I first started traveling, I thought I was in Slovakia for 2 weeks, but I wasn't. I was in Slovenia. Didn't even know. I thought it was the same country. I was like,
I had this where my girlfriend did a trip for my birthday to Slovenia. It was like a surprise, and then but she did it like it was like loads of clues to reveal the letters. Yeah. And as it's spelling out Slovenia, I was like, oh, Slovenia. It sounded to me in my head like little knowledge sounded almost like sort of like really like post-Soviet like grey concrete. Yeah. And then she showed pictures. It's like the greenest place in Europe. Like,
I was so surprised.
Just expecting like Kazakhstan or something.
And then I was like, I was getting confused with Slovakia, which I was still wrong because Slovakia is part of Czechoslovakia. It is also really pretty. So it was really nice. And I was just being an ignorant idiot. Is what it was.
Yeah. Oh my god. It does sound like the Cold War still going on back there, doesn't it? It does sound like it's very like.
It's nowhere near. It's like it was part of Yugoslavia, which is like the complete opposite end. It's nowhere near. Completely irrelevant. Like it might as well be like, Wales are very post-Soviet.
All right, so we normally do a little part on a podcast where we talk about things that might be bugging us, or we have like heroes and idiots of the week. So, do you guys have any of them by any chance?
I do have. I've got 20,000 idiots of the week.
Whack them out.
And they're all in that work group chat.
So my 20,000 idiots of the week is. Have you seen the new Cadbury Cream Egg advert?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
20,000. Anyone who's not seen it, basically. New cream egg advert is celebrating 50 years of the cream egg, and there's things like how people have their cream eggs. No one has their cream eggs differently than just eating it, but they like to sort of make out that people do it in very adventurous ways, which includes like slicing it open, sort of licking the insides out, eating it behind curtains, I think is one of them, making it, all this sort of stuff, and then one of them at the end was sharing, and it's 2 men, one passing to the mouth of the other, and people were up in arms because of homosexuality being too prevalent in advertising cream eggs. 20,000 people have been that offended by 2 men sharing an egg.
Yeah.
They've complained. 20,000. 20,000.
That is insane.
That's a lot of people, yeah.
But not just like as in because there's going to be loads of other. Because I saw it on Facebook, an article on it, and of course you go down on the comments, and there's obviously then hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of more horrific people.
Yeah.
You know, Facebook comments is just. I mean,
it's just a cesspool.
Just bomb the comments and wipe them out. But like again, so that's not just 20,000 people that are appalling enough to be disgusted. It's appalling enough to be disgusted and make an official complaint.
Yeah, that's a lot of effort to go to, isn't it? For something.
Again, you go on and on Facebook, the comments were very much like there's so many that started with I've got nothing against gay people, however. Well, you have because you're going to give me a however.
I'm not racist, but
the opening.
You're not going to. Whatever you're going to say next isn't going to have me going. Oh no, fair point. Actually,
yeah, you're right. You're not homophobic at all.
Yeah,
I can completely see your point.
Yeah. I'm more offended that they were slicing cream eggs behind the curtain. That's a lot more offensive. Just eat it. Get on with it.
Yeah, there were loads of people that were sort of like in the middle of it, or were sort of like the main problem is that cream eggs are too small to share. That's my main issue. The main issue here still, mate, is that 20,000 people are really homophobic enough to be offended. It was also thinking of where like this is not a good way to advertise things to children. Is it not?
Yeah.
Again, it's just like, and not even kissing. Like again, it's like it's hinting,
passing an egg,
but they're just passing it, like as in.
It's like sharing a drink.
Yeah.
I mean, if he's weirder for me.
If he's shoving the egg up his arse, then it's different, isn't it? But he's not. He's just passing an egg. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
very different way of using that.
Go for it, I say. If anything, I take it back. My villain of the week is Cadbury for not really going for it.
For not having the balls to just do what's right.
Yeah.
Well, everything's a snack if you're brave enough.
So you guys want egg?
The misrepresented community of egg lovers that shove it up their arse and fart it against the wall. Where's their representation? You're a disgrace, Cadbury.
New tagline: how many eggs can you get up your arse?
How many can you fit in? That's the new slogan. To be fair, they'd sell a lot of people trying. There'd be a lot of TikTokers losing their jobs.
Yeah, buy one now.
I was wondering why they sold them in sixes. It must be like the optimal amount.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Fair enough. So, what about you, James? You got any particular idiot this week?
Well, compared to Paul's take out kind of a social standpoint, mine's kind of feels a bit more kind of petty now.
Me and Jack always do this with the heroes.
Do,
Jack always does something really sincere for heroes, and I have waffle makers. They're great,
But I didn't realise you got that deep. But mine's just Westminster Council.
Because he's shoving eggs up his arse.
Out on the streets, on the hands and knees. Pack of six. You're not allowed to do that in Westminster Council, but it's because I had to go into the office for the first time the other day, and where the office is, it cuts between both Kensington and Westminster Council. I have to park on 4 hours on one and 4 hours on the other. And in Westminster, I have to pay an extra £5 because of a diesel surcharge. So
Jesus.
They are my villains.
Get yourself a blue badge like me, mate. You can park wherever you want. Get yourself a blue badge.
That shows the difference between us. Mine is homophobes. Is mine. Homophobic bigots is my villain of the week. James is people who
traffic wardens.
Slap him on the wrist for his energy guzzling car. He's a detriment to the planet.
Yeah. Oh well. It works. I mean, I like it. It works a treat. All right. Well, Jack, who's your idiot this week?
I don't know.
You don't know. You've lost it now.
No, I did have an idiot of the week. Did I have an idiot of the week? I did have an idiot of the week. It was the delivery driver that delivered my bog roll last week. That's who my idiot of the week was. So this is a long story.
I've really got this. I've made a social standpoint here. We've got bog rolls and parking attendants so far.
Yeah.
It's sometimes we do have deeper ones, but we normally bitch so much about people not wearing masks and stuff. Like, you know what? We'll just keep it light.
Know in future, because...
We'll do. Yeah. Next time. We'll give examples of past examples.
What did he do?
Right, so last week I came back from Slovenia and my missus has not done the shopping properly. Well, she says she did, but...
To be fair, she's a full-time carer who works like 14-hour days. So we
didn't do the shopping
put that out of the way
properly.
first. Not Jack's carer, just to clarify.
Did she also villain of the week because she didn't do the shopping properly?
That's what I was thinking.
More or less, yeah. Well, I can't really say that because she's next door, but yes, more or less that.
She'll hurt him.
He's only a villain because of the original villain.
Yeah.
I like it.
I got back from Slovenia and there was only one roll of bog roll left, right? But I'd ate something dodgy and I had those screaming abdabs. I struggled, right? I was struggling. So I couldn't go to the shop because I was in quarantine, so I had to wait a week. So it got to the point where I was like ringing Chris, going, Chris, I've got stomachache, there's no bog roll. So I was running around the flat trying to find like letters, bills, the lot, trying to like wipe me out or something. Literally, I was like looking at carrier bags thinking, I can use a carrier bag, yeah. Because there's one thing having a shitty ass when you're standing up, but when you're in a wheelchair, it's the whole little kettle of fish and you've got to sit back down again. so you don't want one of them when you're in a chair. So I thought, Chris said, use Uber Eats. Get yourself an Uber Eats.
They've got groceries on there. He didn't know that.
Like, yeah, great idea. So I ended up paying 15 quid for like 6 bog rolls by the time I paid all the charges and stuff. This bloke called Dalton came up. He looked like a serial killer on the app, like just looked like a weird mugshot. He picked it up and it said half an hour later he was on the way, and he just cancelled the order and it never turned up. And then I had to order it again and spend another 15 quid and try and get reimbursed by Uber. And so I'd ended up spending £30 on 4 bog rolls. That was literally what I was doing. And I grabbed it and just ran to the toilet. I was like, I'm gone. Just gone.
After spending that much in the bog roll, did it improve or make the experience worse?
I was like licking every square. I thought I'm going to get me worth out of this one.
Oh.
What?
Yeah,
None of us are comfortable hearing that. I've never seen a 4-person squirm in one go before.
I was like, oh, is it just the cream eggs? No,
Oh my goodness. Well, I didn't expect that to go there, but okay.
So yeah, my idiot of the week is the Dalton, the Uber driver who didn't bring my bog roll.
Mind you for licking toilet paper.
Yeah, I think you're the true villain here.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Oh well, who's your idiot of the week, Chris?
My idiot of the week. Well, see, I discovered last week there's a Reddit forum. I don't really go on Reddit much, but my wife does. And there's one called TIFU, which is Today I Fucked Up. And it's short stories of people who've done something stupid that day. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to pick one to read today for you folks. It's just a short one, so I hope you don't mind. But it says, this just happened to me, and my tongue is still quite displeased with me. Anyways, to set the scene...
Jack,
That's it. It's just, I have Andrax stuck in my throat. You can't even write. No, it said, I have a sore throat, not COVID, thankfully, and decided I want a cold beverage to drink in an attempt to soothe it. I remembered I have a half gallon of milk that's around its sell-by date which needs to be consumed soon, as well as cocoa powder and sugar. So in my infinite wisdom, I decide, hey, let's make some chocolate milk mix from scratch and enjoy a glass. I start by putting in 1.5 tablespoons of cocoa powder in the bottom of my glass, and I opened a little airtight storage jar I keep my sugar in and put 2 tablespoons in as well, making sure to mix it together before pouring in the milk. Now, you may have seen recent videos on Reddit where people dip in spoonfuls of cocoa powder into milk and lift them out, only to have the top layer of milk violently repel from the rest of the powder, leaving everything on the spoon completely dry. Yeah, well, picture that, but 1,000 little unmixed clumps floating everywhere in the glass, looking like tiny grains of rice made of disappointment and sadness. This milk was perhaps the saddest looking lumpy foamy mess of chocolate milk I've ever made, while also easily being the most effort. Somewhat defeated, but still unwilling to give up on my hard work, I decided to try the weird lumpy half-mixed chocolate abomination in the cup before me, because damn it, I worked hard on it and I deserve at least some satisfaction. Exactly. And that, friends, is how I very quickly realised I'd used 2 tablespoons of salt in my cup instead of 2 tablespoons of sugar. If you're curious about whether salty half-mixed cocoa powder milk is good, I'm here to tell you that it is not.
Yeah,
So that person, whoever that is my idiot for this week. Although nice. I can relate because when I moved into this house with the wife, her brother and sister-in-law bought us like a welcome hamper type thing, which is nice. Coffee and sugar and salt and gravy and all sorts of stuff in it. And we didn't use the stuff straight away because we already had our own. But then when that went out, we kind of used theirs as the new stuff. And that's when we realised that they'd swapped everything in all the packaging. They'd put the salt in the sugar, they'd put the sugar in the salt, they'd put the coffee in the gravy, and the gravy in the coffee. And so I made just the worst beverages I've ever had. Because it was horrible. We made cups of tea, and I just put salt in them apparently. And that's when we realised they must hate us. Because when it first arrived, I was like, this coffee looks a bit weird, but she's South African, so I thought maybe she got it from home. They have different coffees.
So she's right for some mild racism.
Yeah, I was going to say, massive racism.
Those lot always do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
No,
why does it smell like Bovril? Oh, she's from South Africa. Be alright. Just
no. Let me figure this one out. No, she's given us like Cadbury's chocolate bars before that look like alien Cadbury chocolate bars I've never heard of, and like, oh, what is this? And she's like, oh, from South Africa. Like, oh, okay, cool. So I just thought, like their version of Nescafe has bigger lumps. I don't know. But yeah, it wasn't good. But it just reminded me of that. So I thought I'd just share it.
Fair enough.
There'll be a better video next week.
I am going to go to the toilet mid-podcast, actually.
Go for it.
I'm going to piss myself on the pod.
Well, whatever's for views. Now you go for it. We'll see you in a second. Oh, never a dull moment.
Have you got a hero of the week, Chris?
I have, but we can wait a minute to talk about the heroes. I mean,
yeah, true. Should wait.
There's nothing worse than just needing to go to the loo and you're like, okay, shut up talking. I need to go now.
It's the worst one.
You get the bounce going.
man as well. Can't go anywhere without having like 3 people or anywhere.
I used to be like that. I every time we were going to go anywhere, I'd have to go to the loo first, and then I'd probably need it whilst we're out. And it's just the worst. But eventually, I don't know why, but at some point it seemed to fix itself, and I'm so thankful because it was a pain in the backside. I would definitely be the guy.
Toilet. It's the worst feeling as well when you've got no toilet, and it makes it even worse, doesn't it, when you need it?
That's my problem. If I know, I won't need it at all. But if I know there's no toilet available, like you're in a bus or something, my brain will go, "You need the loo right now." Like, I can't do anything.
I'm at a theme park, just about to go on a ride.
Yeah.
And you're like, "Oh, I'm going to be in the queue for an hour. If I go for a wee now, I'm less likely to do a wee just before I go on the ride." And then so I've always got that horrible feeling like I don't want to start going up the chain lift.
Yeah, because you come down, it all goes in your face. It's not ideal.
Bloody go everywhere.
God.
When I was a kid, I started playing like wheelchair basketball, and one of the first things I got told by the coach was like, "Never play basketball if you need the toilet." And I was like, "Why?" And he was like, "If you fall out your chair and you land in your bladder, you'll just piss all over the course." And I was like, "Oh yeah." I was like, "Yeah,
oh god,
it's a good idea."
The nuances of wheelchair sports. Who knew there's little elements like that you have to think about?
Oh, right. Should we do idiot to hero? Idiot to hero? Should we do the idiots? No,
the hero.
Heroes. Sorry, get my words and stuff.
You got your words
Heroes.
out. Yeah, you can do your heroes.
Okay, who's going first? Who wants to go first?
It's up to you guys.
Have you got a hero? Do you want me to go first? What you can think of a hero?
No, yeah, I mean, I'm after sort of overshooting the last one. I'm going to see what you guys have got first.
I'm just going to look at your homework first.
Social or political route. If you guys are going to,
get his manifesto out.
And I'm just trying to find mine, so you can filibuster.
Right. My hero of the week this week is RuPaul's Drag Race. I've been watching it. It's really good. I've really enjoyed it, actually, to be fair. So it's one thing. It's like, basically, I feel like I'm a gay man. I just don't like cock. Does that make? I don't know if that makes any sense to anyone else. But like, I feel like I do everything else. I just don't like the end product. So yeah,
you're on a trial period of gay. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, more or less. Yeah, it's one of them programs that like Lucy was watching. I was like, I'm not watching that. And I got dead into it. Like every week, I'm like, "Oh yeah, go on, girl!" Like just straight on the thing, like straight on. With the funniest bit,
I had the
like
same
this...
thing. Like my girlfriend watched it, and I was like, "Oh, I don't really want to watch this." And then I was like, "Oh, this is fucking great!"
Yeah.
It's a surprisingly good show, isn't it?
Yeah. But like Lucy was watching it, and Graham Norton's on the panel, and he said something about being gay, and she went, "Oh, I never realised Graham Norton was gay." And I was like, "What? Why have you never realised the campus bloke on telly was gay?" She's like, "Oh, I thought he was straight. I thought he had a wife and kids." I'm like, "You've definitely never been near a girl in his life." Like she was saying Louis Spencer's not gay. Like straight
as it comes, Louis.
Yeah, my hero of the week's RuPaul's Drag Race. Really enjoying it, but I'm not sure I'd partake anytime soon. So
I don't know. I think you'd make an interesting drag queen. What would your drag name be if you had to have one? Like not like your street name one, but if you just picked one, maybe integrate your wheelchair into it or something.
Wheelie Wendy. How's that?
It's a bit weak.
Disabled Deborah.
Special Susan.
I don't know.
Deborah.
Deborah, the sexiest name in existence.
Spastic Fantastic.
I don't know if that would fly in 2021 or 1978. Oh God! But you can say it, I guess. I
can say it.
Yeah, just to clarify, Jack is in a wheelchair.
No one else would be able to say it other than you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's not just really brazen.
My disability is spastic cerebral palsy. Yeah, it's funny, Bobby.
So what time's is it fantastic getting here?
Yeah.
I feel enough guilt from watching last season's Drag Race with Sum Ting Wong on it, and I feel insanely racist every time I say her name. But that's her name, and you can't when's Summy getting here? You can't really just work your way around it. It needs to be the name. All right, so James, have you got a hero for this week?
Probably Kensington Council. Forum. Either that or the I've been fascinated by the whole landing the rover on Mars.
Yeah,
that's been incredible.
It's fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been amazing to see, isn't it? Like, I seen one thing that I said it was like it cost 1.9 billion to put a thing on Mars, but it cost them 22 billion to do a track and trace system for the COVID. I was
For a spreadsheet that they got wrong.
For a spreadsheet, yeah.
That's insane.
No,
yeah,
it's mad.
I was looking at
I'd
footage.
love to go to Mars.
It looks like an amazing place. But I was looking at footage from the other rovers. NASA released a video, or a couple of videos recently, and it was strictly 4K quality footage of all the stuff they've stitched together over the years. And it's like hundreds of images have been sewn together to make these 4K panoramas. And it's just some amazing stuff. You look at it, you're thinking, this is like, obviously it's another planet, and your brain can't quite comprehend certain things. Like you look at certain rock formations and like, that shape doesn't make sense to me. Because part of my job is like analyzing real life, because I'm an environment artist. So I make things in 3D that are real. So I'm always looking at the little fine details of stuff. And yeah, you're looking at things like, I'd never get away with doing that in a game because it doesn't look real, because it's not Earth real. You know, we can't do that here. So yeah, it's fascinating stuff. And then you got all the conspiracy theorists like, no, this is bullshit. This is in the desert. It's like, the test footage might be, but this is the real stuff, you know. See that little dot? That's the Earth.
Flat.
Oh, God. Yeah, we won't start with that. But no, it's fascinating. And I saw that apparently Youngblood did a cover of David Bowie's Life on Mars, and they played it when they were landing the rover. So that was pretty cool for him.
Yeah, that is cool, to be fair.
He seems like a nice guy, so you know, I'm happy to see him happy.
Yeah.
But it's massive.
It's really good, the cover.
Yeah, I've not heard it yet.
Yeah.
I've heard his song called Mars, but I've not heard his Life on Mars cover.
Yeah, so I think he performed it or somewhere. It might have been like a Dave Bowie tribute thing, but yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah, I missed that. I wanted to watch that, but it got delayed, didn't it, or something? I think it was meant to be on a certain day, and then it got delayed to the next day or something, and I missed it. But oh well. But cool, that's a very good one. I like it, Mars Rover. So we've got Mars Rover, we've got Drag Race.
Yeah.
Moment of Truth, Paul. What are you going with? Is it God himself?
No, you know what? I'm gonna go for Matt Hancock in the sense that, you know what, if you're gonna commit to being a villain, fucking go for it.
Yeah, just like the cream eggs. Shove the government up.
Yeah, go for 7 is what you're saying. Matt Hancock, you can go for 7.
Exactly. No, like, it's the thing of where. But originally people thought, oh, he's incompetent, and then it's sort of then when you hear that there's going to be like these big contracts handed out, people surmise almost into, oh, he's probably going to hand it out to his cronies. Like, he has done that, and that's what I like. I like that he's consistently horrific, and he doesn't care that he's doing it. And then again, play with Dominic Cummings back, back in 2020 when he was doing his optical thing with his glasses.
His drive-through eye test.
It wasn't an optical illusion. I got the word wrong there. You know what? If you're going to be a villain, go for it. Like, let's live in a day and age of actual horrific villains rather than half-noobs.
Yeah, I like it.
You know, as in, maybe I've watched too many Marvel films recently. But I mean, so it's Matt Hancock for me. He's gone for it, and I can't wait to see what he does next.
What's going to happen on next week's episode of Matt Hancock?
Yeah, there's a video of Matt.
You're a hero long enough to see yourself become a villain, but it's the opposite way around.
Yeah. He's been a villain long enough for me to think, you know what, fair play to you.
He looks like he absolutely loves it as well. And when you see videos of him, he loves being the villain as well, and he absolutely loves it.
Again, anyone being angry with him, you're playing into his hands. He'll do it more. Like, make him a hero, and he won't know what's happened.
It's like a toddler throwing a strop. You just got to ignore him, and he'll go away. But if you keep feeding into him, he'll just get worse.
Next press conference, he just stops, kicks a homeless lad in the head, and just goes on the press conference. Just like goes on. Who's your hero this week, Chris? Who have you got?
My hero this week is Weetabix. Now let me explain. Weetabix have managed the impossible. Like, they've brought peace to the Middle East. I don't know if you heard about this. This is entirely true. Like, you might have seen online, Weetabix did a post on Twitter where, for some reason, somebody woke up with a broken brain that day and said, let's put some beans on our Weetabix and put it on Twitter and watch the world burn. And that's what happened. So they did that, and then every PR person from every company decided to respond with the kind of like funny replies and stuff to it. All obviously disgusted by what's going on. And there's like reports from the police and all sorts of people like that coming back to it. There's Domino's saying stuff like, us, pineapple on pizza's the most controversial food ever. Weetabix, hold my spoon. You know, that kind of stuff. And and then there's like Tinder, like, you know, trust us, this is not a match. And all that kind of stuff. There's even KFC saying, Alexa, how do I delete somebody else's tweet? And it even brought peace between Nando's and KFC, because Nando's tweeted them saying, "You okay, hon? DMs are open if you need to talk." And then KFC said, let's set aside our differences to prosecute this under the Geneva Convention. And then Nando said, let's not get carried away. And KFC said, chicken. They said, takes one to know one, Colonel. And this kind of stuff just kept going between all these companies. But the thing that really caught my eye was the country of, well, Israel. At Israel, officially blue ticked.
Israel.
Which I didn't know was options. I didn't know that could happen. But yeah, Israel, officially blue ticked, said finally something that all Middle Eastern countries can agree on. Just no. Also, want to know how to upgrade your Weetabix? Hummus. So they brought peace to the Middle East. Who knew all along? All it took was some Weetabix with beans on them to disgust people to such an extent. I mean, we thought it might have been Donald Trump ruining the world. That would bring everyone together to take down an evil. And it wasn't even COVID. Like, even though we're all suffering the same thing and we're trying to come together in certain ways, there's still shit going on back there. But apparently it was just Weetabix and beans. That's all you needed. So, yeah.
I'm not going to say that Mac Hancock definitely has Weetabix and beans for breakfast. But I'm saying it's fucking likely.
But if he wasn't a lizard and ate hot food.
No, I'm just saying that's probably where this started from. In a week that he's announced that he's done something horrific, I reckon he started it by having some beans on his Weetabix.
Yeah. After his caviar and starving children. After he's seen all that. Comes out with a new food scheme for free school meals, just Weetabix and beans. All you're allowed on free school meals.
That would not surprise me one bit.
He owns shares in both Heinz and Weetabix. I'm about to drop a massive clanger this week. Can you distract me for a little bit?
You know what? That wouldn't even surprise me.
If I can get away with it.
There'll be a conspiracy theorist somewhere who's probably pieced all these together, like, you know, the crazy guy with the cigarette and all the strings. Yeah. There's probably someone like that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, yeah, so that's our idiots and heroes for the week.
Well done.
Yeah, that's pretty much us, I think. I mean, unless there's anything particular you guys want to chat about, anything you want to bring up?
Where can we find your shorts and all the stuff we've been talking about? I'm sure everyone wants to see your grandfather's cock. Is it on the internet somewhere? Can we find?
It's granddaddydick.com.
Granddaddy Dick.
That's actually his own penis. It's his granddad cock, and that's a cock that looks like a granddad.
Yes.
It's like when you get potato chips and they look like people's faces.
Yeah. Presume you don't just Google granddad cock. I think it comes to a difference.
At least you're safe, sir.
That is the concern if this show ever took off, that then people sort of then Google granddad cock, what's going to happen?
At least granddad cock could have an IMDb page. The best character.
So
it's stiff competition.
There's our website, which is oakmeadproductions.co.uk, which is OAKMEAD.
I can see why it took you so long to call a midwife to get the lines out now.
That was a panic there, you know.
What's our company called?
Don't mess it up, off you go. And then throwing all sorts of letters in there.
I could see your brain thinking, and I was like, oh, yes.
Yeah, like I want to see where this goes. You're not going to help.
Yeah, I had numbers in there at one point, and there was going to be a 6.
OA7 green.
OA6. Or there's our Instagrams, which is Paul_Longley. I won't bother spelling that, just in case anything comes out.
Mine's James Longlegram.
There you go.
Well, it'll all be in the description anyway. Everything will be there.
Yeah.
This has been an absolute pleasure, Jen. So we love chatting to you guys. We loved it last time. We love it this time. Hopefully we can have you again next time in the future when you've got even more Adventure Bros out, knocking about.
Yeah, we'll get cracking.
We'll have some more to talk about.
Yeah, some more. Yeah, I'll find something a little bit beneath the belt for the villain next time. Now I know what it is.
Just aim low. That's the quality bar on this podcast. So just aim low and see what happens.
The irony that the person who invented Grandad Cock has then overshot it with highbrow.
Yeah, that's the kind of level we're at here. And you should probably do some sort of production that's entirely eyebrows as well, just to really test yourself.
Yeah, do that.
100%.
That thing I'll say to everyone is Adventure of the Mountain of Fire is out in about 2 weeks' time, so look out for that. And do watch those eyebrows.
Yes, watch them all, every one of them. Watch all the wiggles.
Thing of beauty.
No, that's been fantastic. So thank you very, very much for joining us, guys. We really deeply appreciate it. And yeah, we will say goodbye to everybody now. So bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
See you then. See you soon. All the best.
All the best.
Bye. Safe journey.